Oh, I am. Thank you. He said I'm hot. Hey, everybody. What's up there? Who do we got? We got top chat. We got 6 people looking in on us right now. In any case, welcome to Model Railroading Live, the number one model railroading show, if not in the world, absolutely in the universe. We're, thumbs up. We got a thumbs up. Oh, who's this? Nick's Crossing. Hey, everyone. Nick is in the house. Welcome to Model Railroading Live, the number one model railroading show in the world, if not the universe. We're going to get to our special guest tonight in just a few minutes, but I got to do homework, so just bear with me. I know you guys have been biting at the bit. You've been wondering. I know you've been clamoring at writing me emails and calling me up at all hours of the night, wondering when Johnny's Train Talk show is coming back. And I just want to let you know that the wait is over. It is tomorrow night, Thursday, January 28th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Johnny's Train Talk Show will be back. And you guys out there that are watching this, I say this every week, every time Johnny's Train Show is on, that you guys can participate as you see me and our guests that are on right here. You guys can be a part of it. All you need is an internet, camera, and you're good to go. So Johnny's Train Talk Show tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Mosey on down to Johnny's Train shop there. Pull up a chair, pull a nice cold soda pop out of the cooler, and absolutely sit down. And you can bring and brag if you want. If you got a question about a situation you got on your railroad, by all means, please bring it to our attention. If you got something you want to complain about in the hobby, by all means, we'll listen, but not really. But anyway, you can do that too. So with that said, Johnny's Train Talk Show, I know I said it 3 times, but I want you guys to know about it because it's a fantastic show. So it's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The other thing that's coming up is Railroad Empires, how we build them. That's with Robert, Andy, Tim, Ari, and Ralph. And I want to tell you something. This particular show, this Saturday night at 9 p.m. is going to be especially exciting because they're going to harness nuclear power and try to put it in a train, an HO scale train. They've been working on it. Ari's been putting together the ball, that whole nuclear thing going on, and they really are going to try to do this. Now, 2 things can happen here. We could be making millions and millions of dollars, or we're going to see the best light show we've ever seen from the Midwest. But I think it's worth your while to show up. This Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Railroad Empire shows how we build them. We'll be on at 9 p.m. I think it would be worth your while just to see if we can do this, if they can do this. And then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 great minds together like that. I'm telling you, bro, it's dangerous. So just want to say that. Also want to throw this out there. It's a self-promotion. I know it is, but yours truly, South Brooklyn Railroad, my YouTube channel, is approaching 1,000 subscribers.
Splendid.
I never thought I would get there. I've been doing this since the inception of video, and it took this long to get there. So, but I'm approaching 1,000 subscribers. So just want you to go. If you know somebody, please tell them to subscribe. I think I'm going to have a contest. In fact, I know I'm going to have one. I'm going to have a giveaway. It's a special giveaway, one of a kind, absolutely a collectible. It will be worth a lot of money, whoever gets this. And I'm giving it away for free. Okay. More information on that on my YouTube channel, South Brooklyn RR. So tune into that. That's me self-promoting. I know I shouldn't do that. But anyway. Anyhow, let us get back. This is Who's Big Bill talking to tonight. And we have the distinct honor of talking to Art Burack. Art, welcome to Model Railroading Live. Who's Big Bill talking to?
Thanks so much. Thank you for inviting me. This is a thrill for me, but this is the first time I'm going, I guess, worldwide on the cybernet. So it's
we're famous in Australia.
Thanks to whoever's out there watching. I so appreciate that. Thanks.
Yeah, we're famous in Australia.
Splendid.
Yeah, we know we have one guy that subscribes to us, and that was by mistake, but he keeps coming back, so it's a good thing, I guess, right? Just let me say hello to all these guys. They got Grandpa Rails out here. You got
Right?
Bernard C. Who else? Because these guys get lonely if I don't say hello to them. Highball and Hoggers in the house. Dwight Curley. I hope that's how I'd say your name there, bro. Let's see. Art McKeevy's in the house. Yeah, Zach Summer. What's up, man? Did you see our
Zach,
show last week?
I did. He's
Yeah,
my
Zach.
kindred spirit.
Yeah,
Zach, you're
Zach.
my kindred spirit, brother. I
Yeah.
was watching the same trains, the D and the Express back in between 65 and maybe 68 in my grandmother's third floor apartment, bedroom window, counting what's coming and what's going. Yeah.
There you go. Zach
It was
is
a good show.
yeah, and you are, Art, if I may ask, originally born and raised in Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah. Yeah. Born in Queens. When I was 4, we moved to Flatbush, and I was there till about 12.
And
In between, I fell in love with the rails of just the sound and the mightiness, even of a subway car. So I know how Zach feels, and I definitely feel the same way.
right.
So yeah, I grew up taking the local, the Brighton local, to Brighton Beach Station, and my grandparents at the time lived on Coney Island Avenue between Brighton Beach Avenue and Ocean View. And that apartment had their bedroom was on the 3rd floor, and window was a complete view of the Brighton Beach Station on the L.
I
So
know exactly where that is.
yeah,
I
it
used to
was
work
just
that. I used to work that line. I used to switch out of there in the back. They had three layup tracks in the back
yeah.
behind it, and stuff. So you presently live where now?
I live in a beautiful town called Bowerbank, Maine. It's basically one road. It's in central Maine, Piscataquis County. One road in, one road out. We have a town hall, a fire station. We have the old schoolhouse, which is now a library museum, and the old post office, which was like a one-room building, is now our clerk's office, and that's it.
That's it.
Being in an episode of Northern Exposure, if you remember that show.
Yes, I do actually. We're here talking to Art Burack. Burack, I'm sorry. Art.
Yeah.
It's that New Yorker in me. Just if we were hanging out and down on the corner, I'd be Artie. Hey, Artie, what are we doing tonight?
Oh, we know it. And no one beyond Jersey would know what the hell we're saying.
No. Exactly, exactly right, exactly right. So, Art, now you, how did you tell us a little bit how you got from Brooklyn to Maine? How did that transpire?
Tranquility, and the word tranquility comes to mind. I had a friend I had a house in Flanders near Riverhead, out in Suffolk County. And I had a friend named Wilbur Natman, who lived in Hampton Bays. He was in the post office. He lived in Valley Stream, had a German deli. He retired, moved to Hampton Bays, and somehow I got to meet him through a few friends, and he told me about he had a camp up in Maine, and whenever I want to come up, just come on up. So I did back in August of 1994. And I just fell in love. I was there for like a week, and I said, man, I could stay up here. And it was about 1999. I qualified for a mortgage, and I bought this old farmhouse, as is, and I've been here since. It'll be 21 years.
Really?
Yeah.
21 years. So I'm sure up in the area that you live, is it rich in railroading?
Yes, big history. We had the old Bangor and Aroostook, and the Canadian Pacific. Maine Central used to come up, through Newport into Dover Foxcroft. In the old days, you're looking at the turn of the century into the I would say to the late 50s. There was a lot of money made up here because of the forest business. Agriculture, potatoes, of course. And I learned a while ago that I used to be a home health aide, and I worked on a farm with a family. and they got their potato seed from Maine. So there's a huge connection between Long Island and Maine potatoes, and a lot of Bangor and Aroostook brought those seeds down before there was trucking. So
really,
yeah, there's a huge connection, and it still is. Broccoli, cauliflower. It's it was in its heyday, manufacturing. There was a lot of great stuff as far as modeling. And if you model that period of time, it's a field day.
Now the ultimate question is, since we have you on Who's Big Bill Talking To? Okay. Do you have a model railroad layout in?
Oh yeah.
You do. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the criteria of being on the show,
Yeah. So I had this room upstairs, and I thought it would be a great visiting room for all my friends and family to come to Maine, get away from the rat race, and come up and see me. Not one person. And here's this room, like, it was a storage room, and it's like this. It's not doing anything. And I also I built a 2-car garage, and with a second level, and that'd be nice, but it's freezing. It would be thousands of dollars to insulate it and heat it.
Right.
And I went upstairs. And I says, "Wait a minute, here it is. My room is a 25 by 12, including the closet." So I built a walk around.
Okay.
And it's not very high. It's about maybe 2 feet. Usually, a lot of layouts are 36 plus,
right,
as far as height.
Right.
This is low because my ceiling's banked down. It's one of those.
Oh, okay.
So I have to make this enough clearance.
Right.
It's about 1.5 feet, so I could, So I also have. I always love to play with slot cars. The Aurora FX, the Tycos, the Magnum 440s, I guess they were called, and G7s and Auto World cars, and I still have them. And I'm building pretty much a Grand Prix. You have towns and villages, but you can race through it. Also have the railroad crossing. Eventually I'm going to have working, gates and light.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And the did you ever go when you were a kid living in Brooklyn? Did you ever go to the slot car place on McDonald Avenue?
I think I've been there once.
Yeah,
once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah, my friends and I used to hang out there.
I remember that place. Yeah, I wish I went more, but I was so far away, and Flatbush was still a distance.
No, we would walk there.
Yeah, you're lucky.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I just turned 60 this year.
Oh, okay. I'm 6 years older than you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I didn't live too far from you. I lived in the Park Slope section.
Okay. Yeah.
So Flatbush. I used to take down Flatbush Avenue. That had all the movie theaters there.
The Lowe's,
The Lowe's, everything used to date.
It's one of the most beautiful. There's Radio City, and then there's Lowe's, which is right in the same caliber.
Right.
It's so decadent, and they rebuilt it. They restored it, which was wonderful.
Yes, they did. Brooklyn. You wouldn't be. Have you been to Brooklyn recently?
Not too recently, but what I'm seeing online and what I'm hearing on the radio and what I'm seeing on screen, like, wow, this is a. They're starting
to get a skyline like Manhattan.
Yeah.
By the Williamsburg Bank, they're starting to get and the Atlantic, where the Long Island Railroad is, and down by Barclays. They're building up. It's amazing.
The Barclays Center.
Yeah. Yep. And stuff
that.
If
only the Dodgers can come back.
If only the Dodgers. Yeah, my father was a big Dodger fan.
So was mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been great.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone had Eric Hall, IMRRO.com says everyone had slot car sets in the 70s out here.
Yeah.
He lives out in Arizona. Then in the 80s, it was 1/32 scale slot car tracks that were very popular. Now it's RC race car tracks. Yep. Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. And in doing so now, do you have a name for this layout of yours?
Yes, it's called the Rhiannon Falls, Hildreth, and Mountaindale Route. Rhiannon Falls. Yeah, it's a fictional place. it's sort of like where I guess New Paltz and right when you get into the Catskills, like Route 17, Route Wurtsboro, and then I remember that major Route 9. I can't remember.
Yes, 9.
9, and then Ellenville, where the Beverly was, and all the Borscht resorts were.
Right.
So that's basically where it's at. So it's a double main line what I have, and like I said, my Long Island Railroad goes through, modern day Amtrak. And of course I always love historical trains, so there will be some historical steamers coming in.
Right.
Now, so basically it's open. The world, the world's your oyster in this layout.
How did you get? Why did you choose that area itself? What's the affection?
What lingered in my mind? I was 16 years old, 1976. It was May, and my brother and I had to scope out a new campground for Dad, and we went up to the Catskills. Route 32 off of Route 17, and we went to Rosendale, and we found a campground in Rosendale. I believe it was called Hidden Valley. But we went to other places towards Kingston, and that spring, Fleetwood Mac just had this explosive album, and I'm not talking about Rumors in 1977. I'm talking about the White Album, which is a phenomenal album, and of course Rhiannon. It was the big hit. I was hearing it almost every hour on the radio, and I always think of the streams and the trees and the greenery of spring and the warm weather. It was very warm early in the middle part of May that year, so that just lingered in my mind, and that's where I want that's where I can see a location.
Yeah. Yeah, because usually guys, when they're doing a railroad, they try to do it on the, whatever, the Chicago, Santa Fe, Phoenix, Boston, Baltimore kind of thing with the B&O flavor.
Subdivisions of whatever they.
Right, next to a major.
Whatever inspires a person. I never lived in the state, but just that moment, in that Chevy Nova, doing navigating. It was just a wonderful time. It's great.
Right.
And there's a town called Hildreth, and that's pretty much an agricultural town. And I dedicate that to my dad. When he was in high school, he went to agricultural high school, Newtown. Yeah, and at that time it was an agricultural school, and they called themselves the Aggies. And my dad took up farming, field farming and also dairy. So during the summers, he would go to East Chatham, New York, and work with this family farm called the Riggy Farm right in East Chatham. And it was a high-tech place, even in the late 40s. So they were part of the Cornell Cooperative Extension. So, he told me lots of stories about Chatham. So I wanted to make a farm area where you have dairy and you have a co-op, and then you have an industry like I'm going to have the pre-integrated facility there. Right. I'm also going to have a brewery, a microbrewery, and a tavern.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And once you get this up, are you going to be doing operations, or is this going to be you're going to run trains around, or is it a point to point?
Yeah, well, it's going to be operations with definitely passenger and occasional, not occasional. I'm starting to buy a lot of freight now because I really like the CSX. I like their paint schemes. And
do you really?
Yeah, I'm really liking it. And the scale trains is off the hook. And I have the BLI, the AC 6000, and that thing's a beast,
Yeah.
So, there'll be mainline, lots of mainline operations, passengers going to certain stations. But with the Purina facility, the brewery, I'm also going to build there's Mountaindale, which is the other part of the room, between the doorway. That's pretty much a recreation area, wilderness. You got campgrounds, you got park ranger, I'm looking to put a hotel there. I like the Menard Hotel.
Right.
Menard one. I really like that one. I can see if I could fit it in. We'll see.
Yeah. Adrian Gaston says, I still have a bit and a lot of slots cars, but my end scale is most important now to me. Adrian, where exactly are you from? Just to get it. Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta. There you go. Oh, UNA. Oh, cool. There's a small world.
Excellent.
Excellent. Now, your other endeavor or your other passion
Yeah.
is filmmaking.
Yeah. Yeah. I started actually that same year between 75, 76. You know, it was a real renaissance time for me, with filmmaking, music. Um, uh, yeah. You know, I did, we worked with Super 8 movie film, you know,
Right.
Code 40. And I had a friend named Chris. We were in bio class and we were pretty bored. And we had to do we had health class and we had to do something for health.
Yeah, I don't either. No, they weren't, and neither were mine. I was here talking and listening, so we have a little bit of a technical difficulty, folks. He's trying to Is he trying to get in? Just say hello to CV Rail in HO scale. Okay, got to let him in. Here he goes. Hey, we lost your internet. You probably lost your internet.
Wow. Okay. Are we back?
Yeah, you gotta feed those hamsters more.
Yeah.
Anyway, Adrian Gaston says he lives in North Atlanta. Well, welcome. Uh, let's see who else has come in while what is going on here? I'll tell you, boys and girls, our computers, I don't know about you guys out there, but I will tell you this. Uh, this afternoon, I tried to get on my computer, and I guess because everybody's home because of the COVID thing or whatever's going on, pandemic, it took me forever, and I do mean forever, to get on the internet. I'll tell you, during the afternoon or the morning time, you can breeze by. But now everybody's working from home. All the kids are doing what they're doing. I'll tell you, it is tough to get on. So who knows what's going on? Who knows? But in any case, let me see if we got any questions. And I got some questions, but I want to see if our illustrious, brilliant audience.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about my studio and how it all evolved. Pretty much. I'll make it short.
No. Eric Hall of IMRRO.com. It's MM. It's IMRRO.com. From this point forward, I will refer to him as Eric Hall because it's a marvel of marbles. He wants to know cartridge 8mm from Kodak you used.
Oh yeah,
40,
yeah, exactly. ACA, ASA 40. Yeah. Also, it was ASA 160 Ectochrome if you're doing indoor.
Right. Exactly.
Sometimes it got a little grainy.
Yeah.
But it was really good for if you, especially documentary, if you're in a low lighting situation and you really put your f-stop as the aperture as high as you can, 1.2. Yeah, that was a pretty good piece of film.
So before we got cut off there, so 1976.
Yeah, that's when I started making movies. My friend Chris was the director at the time, and then we graduated in 78. And then I went to school. I went to Suffolk Community College. I took a film class. I studied journalism and also theater. So I was working on a liberal arts degree, starting 78 into 80. And it was I had passion for like those three items, you know.
Right.
And it really, I look back at that time, it's still a big, huge foundation of what I do now as a filmmaker.
Right.
Because the way I put together my shows, my documentaries, is the same way as you would write a newspaper article or a feature article for a magazine.
The who, what, where, and when.
Exactly. Yep. Who, what, where, why, and how.
Right.
The 5 W's and how. And that's so key, making a documentary. And then usually it's you put it into 3 parts. You want to grab them with the intro and really be specific of what you're going to be talking about, what your project is referring to. And then you really get detailed with the 5 W's and why and how. Sometimes it's difficult, but you really have to really pay attention with where you put your lens and the people that you want to be comfortable enough and open enough to tell their story.
Right. Now, when did you didn't obviously in 1978 when you graduated, went to college, your thinking wasn't, I'm going to use this one day for model railroading. you led up to that because
I guess it was like, not even four, this is recent. This is looking maybe 6 years ago,
right?
Where I really seen the technology today where you could produce something even on an iPad or laptop and put something together, upload it on YouTube or any other format, Vimeo, and the whole world can see your work.
Right, like, instantaneously.
And it doesn't cost you anything.
Right, exactly.
Wow, this is like this is it. But I wanted to build a layout, but it takes time for both. So, what do I want to make a movie of? Am I going to do like a social injustice thing? Am I going to do do a persuasive thing on something, or And it's like, no, I just want to play with my trains, talk and tell stories. So I combined it. Let's play with trains and make movies about model railroading and the railroad, and we don't have to be too specific, and whatever runs on the rails. So that's what the title became.
And that's one of the that's the title of your what's running on the rails?
What's on the rails?
What's on the rails? But now the name of your if people were searching, I put up earlier the name, the official name. Where is it that
my YouTube name?
Yeah, right. Burack Cinematic.
Burack Cinematic. BURACK CINEMATIC. Yeah, it's hard. I should have said Burack Films, but
you can change it. You're allowed to change once.
Yeah, but I like Burack Cinematic.
Okay, there you go then.
It's a tribute. It's actually a tribute to Mel Brooks and George Lucas, Lucasfilms Limited, Brooks Limited. But I chose cinematic, so because
that's good.
Especially in this day and age, because everything is video. It's like it's digital cinema.
Right. Now I was watching some of your videos on the channel on What's on the Rail, and you do a lot of interviews with a lot of the railroaders that we know. I know you did Al Mayo up in Springfield, up in Massachusetts.
Yes.
Was that just that interview with Al Mayo? Was that a by coincidence walking down, or had that been pre-planned? And
that was pre-planned. I got in touch with him with emails, and I believe Facebook at the time, and then just come on down. So I went on down, and he was really busy with his ditch light, not the ditch, LEDs.
Yeah, the LED.
So really pretty phenomenal. Yeah. And I love these little license plates he has. On my HO cars.
Yeah,
he's awesome. His show makes my day. Because his show is sort of like part of my model railroading experience. Because hey, when's the last Monster Railroad show?
Right.
At the end of the Big E, at the end of the Amherst show, you just wait for Al's next episode of the review of the show because it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
He's great.
Now, who others have you interviewed or have showcased their layouts?
Totally love the Dry Hill Model Railroad Club, and it's such a shame that they only are able to build that beautiful masterpiece. What is it, 75 by 35 or something like that? It's just monstrous, beautiful,
And where is the Dry Hill Club located?
They're located in Montague, Massachusetts.
Right.
And they just, I guess they pull out their sections, I guess they tune it up and they probably do a few things with it. But to put that together, the big, Mallory is the only place. The Mallory building is the only place that they were able to do,
Right.
So,
well, that's a modular club.
They don't call it modular because I guess it is modular. It's in sections, but a lot of their sections are specific. They're placed specifically with another section.
Right.
Most of it, not all of it.
No.
They just adding a Walmart now and a couple of other things into their monstrous layout.
Right. John Arthur has a question. He says, "I'm sorry that I missed the beginning." He wants to know what scale, what era railroad are you most interested in, and do you have a layout, or is your focus only on filming and filmmaking?
It's both. I like modern day, and it's pretty much modern day with Amtrak, Lakeshore Limited. I got the Am sleds, right? The Walters Am sleds. What a nightmare! Lots of lubrication on those wheels. It's a nightmare. My Long Island Railroad, the Excursion, the Catskill Excursion. These were custom made. I got them on eBay. This guy's so awesome, and he took P40s and he did these beautiful LIRR paint schemes.
Could you hold that up again, just so that?
Sure. Yeah. This would be actually the modern day with the what do they call it? The E60, the E30Es, Cs, the E30Cs that run now. Yeah. But this is a P40. It's an Athearn blue box with TC. This has lock sound. It sounds really good. This is ESU lock sound, and this one has the TCS wow sound.
Wow.
It's loud. They're beautiful. Yeah, so it's so much fun. It's so much fun. And I'm not really a snob when it comes to what I put on the rails, because this is one of my favorite passenger cars. I don't care what anyone says. This is a Mantua passenger car. I guess it's like a Bud. It's it's still got the horn couplers,
right?
And I love them because they don't fall apart. They don't separate. And it's got such great weight on it. And this is my these are the passengers that go to the Catskills. It's all steel, metal, and they never fall off the track. They're awesome. So I collect them, and I got a box of like 9 of them like a few months back. So I have a whole fleet of them between the combines and the passenger, and so that's what I wanted, because the other Long Island passenger, they're commuter-like, and I need something that looks more interregional.
Right. So you were telling me earlier before we went on air that the taking model railroading literal licensing, you're letting the LIRR come out of Jamaica, Queens, and snake its way up to the Catskill Mountains.
Yeah.
So you're going to model that, obviously, but not the Jamaica station. But
no, I'm just going to model the heading into the upstate New York,
right,
north of Westchester, Rockland County, for just beyond that.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be building a staging area, which is going to have car facilities, locomotive facilities, diesel, a watch area, a roundhouse, because I have lots of steam that are historical steam, and there's going to be steam coming through my town.
Okay.
So that's an extension. Actually, it's going into my master bedroom, because it's adjacent to the train room.
Right.
So I can put a little hole through the wall, and it's not going to be that far out. It's going to be maybe about 34 inches. And then it's going to open up at the opposite wall where it'll fit the roundhouse, because it's a six bay roundhouse with a turntable, with the 130 foot turntable.
That's May I ask a personal question?
Uh-oh. Yes.
With the hole in the wall into the master bedroom, are we in any shape, form, way have a significant other in our life?
I knew that was going to be the next one. Yes, and so far she approves.
Okay.
She approves, but we'll see. We'll see. You know.
Well,
It's beautiful. It's gonna look gorgeous. You know. It's like I have shelves. I did an episode on making shelves, and it's about me making shelves the best way I can make them, because I'm not a master at model railroading. You know, I learn as I go, and I always make that a point in if I'm doing something, if the episode's about what I'm doing. So I would just like to keep the trains, especially the locomotives, keep them on the layout. I just don't want to keep handling them because things break.
Yes.
The rails break.
Yes.
Things snap from the locomotives from underneath. Like, oh man,
I know.
I don't want to do that. You know.
Yeah.
So
Eric Hall says that his wife Lisa would blow both head gaskets if the trains came into our room. He continues to say, I would spend more time on the couch sleeping with the dogs.
Yeah. But it's see, I think I mentioned that I'm planning to shoot a new show called Days and Nights on My Model Railroad, and it's basically about me building this dream layout.
Okay.
And again, I'm not a master builder, so there's going to be a lot of mazel. Wait till you see what I do. Wait till you see how I screw up a layout.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's important because when they see these wonderful layouts, on the internet, as I'll never be that good, so why even bother? And I heard that a lot. That's not the point. The point is that you love what you do. You have a vision that you want to put on a table. Do the vision, and it's going to be trial and error anyway. You're gonna, there's going to be glitches everywhere you go.
I think life is like that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Just follow your dream.
Yeah, I start my premise of my model railroading before I got into model railroading live. We were YouTube model builders before on my channel. My original concept was to have a layout that was it was called South Brooklyn Railroad, aka Catastrophe Railroad. Everything that could go wrong would go wrong, and I'm going to show it to you.
But the great news is this. The great news is, and even when I'm editing my shows, where it's like, how am I putting this together?
Right.
And, you just walk away. You walk away, take a break. Clip yourself away. And even if it's only like 10 minutes, and you go back and look at it, it looks so much differently. And wait a minute, here's that, and here's that, and here's that. Wow, that would be great if we could just try that. And what happens is when something you're building that you see the end result, but it's not going there, it's how do I explain it? It's frustrating, but when you go back and apply something else, try another way, or maybe change it to that, and then you feel you made the better. Your work is going to be so much better.
Of course, absolutely.
And I see that as an editor when I edit my work, my films, and it's just like so much better.
Right.
So
exactly.
Make the mistakes. Don't worry. Make the mistakes. That's where the education is.
That's it. That. You heard it here first. We're going to steal that and put it on a logo and a T-shirt. Make those mistakes.
Yeah.
We are.
Really.
What? John Arthur says, I always
costly, but just don't make the same mistake.
Oh, well, I was just telling my good friend Ralph Rossetti this afternoon that I don't care if I make 1,000 different mistakes. I'll learn from them.
Yeah.
It's when you make the same 1,000 different. Right. Yeah. When you make the same mistake 1,000 times, then there's something to be right. John Arthur says, I've always said to myself, what's the worst that could happen? Tear it out and try again.
Exactly. And wait till you build your next layout. It's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's an education.
It is.
I mean, I couldn't edit the way I edit now. You know, when I was 22, I just didn't have the skill, and I didn't see enough movies, and I didn't have the time. But when you have this opportunity where you could edit and look at imagery and form it like you're doing a sculpture with these images on your screen, you know, great things happen, and you just get better and better at it, you know.
Most of your what's on the rail filming that you do, is it mostly is it pre-planned, like you have the guests set up, or is it you know, like if you went to Amherst and you just rolled up on somebody and said, hey, I'd like to interview you, I've seen your work, or do you get it pre-approved? Because some people aren't into being on film and being interviewed. For, you know, this hobby is basically people who dwell in the basement, basically.
Yeah. I shoot a style called cinema verite, and it was pretty much, I wouldn't say developed by a man named D.A. Pennybaker, who I met in college, my first film class back in 1979. And basically what Mr. Pennybaker did was take a movie camera, and he was a World War II veteran. And, you know, he saw a lot of documentaries there and how they shot. And basically, they were custard pie shots. What he did was take the camera, get it off the tripod, and go to a location and film. Ask the questions. Get with the 5 W's and how.
Right.
Okay. And just keep asking those questions. And basically that, and at the Big E, yeah, it's all spontaneous. You know, I think Al, I got him. I talked to him previously, and I think Joe Alfano, I spoke to him too, probably.
Right.
That was back in 2015 and 16, and I keep going back to Dreo because they're awesome. They're so welcoming.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, and the key is. I don't do a lot of planning. I mean, I pre-plan who I would like to see, you know, and I just go with that. In fact, one of the most watched show was Women at Best, and basically it's Bollinger and Edgerly, Brian Bollinger and his wife.
Right.
Don't remember her name. So. It was like maybe 20 minutes left for the show, and I really wanted to get them. And because the year before I saw their beautiful structures,
right,
and also the famous the picture of the working woman,
right,
the women with the So I did, yeah. So I said I wanted to see him. I finally got a chance to get down there, and I says, "Hey, tell me about your business. Tell me what's with this sign and." I see that there's a lot of women in your company. You know, what is it? Yeah, so it's one of my popular episodes.
Right.
And it was all spontaneous. I had like 15, 20 minutes to shoot that. So that's real. I get my best footage doing that.
Yeah, that seems to be the best part. So sometimes the spontaneous, you know, is...
Yeah, so the technique is just getting that lens. And what's very important. I'm sorry.
That was Art McKeevy. Was Rosie the Riveter? That's who.
Rosie the Riveter. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Check out that episode. It's really an inspiring one. A lot of people really like that one. But you know, you have an idea on maybe a certain subject matter, because the last couple of years I wanted to do a series on modulars. What is a modular? And what is a sectional, and about model railroading. And usually clubs do that style of modular or sectional railroading.
Right.
Tri-hill is more considered sectional,
right?
Because they're more specifically placed.
Right.
Whereas N-track or T-track,
right.
They just interchange.
Yes.
And so those are really fun episodes. So I really had to key in with those certain clubs. I'm trying to think of one club I did. Pepperell. I hung out with those guys at the last show, and I was running my my New York Central Niagara, my BLI,
Right.
for 3 hours. Just
Yeah,
they're wonderful guys. Wonderful
they
folks.
are. Andrew Gaston says earlier when we were talking about model railroading does not have lives at stake like building a NASA rocket, or diffusing a bomb. Just try again with no worries.
Yeah,
I
but it
guess.
hurts. It for
Oh
me,
yeah.
it hurts. It's painful when you can't get what you see in your mind and make it happen. And you just got to take it easy on yourself.
What when you're doing these interviews, what man, not to give anybody up, what was your best interview? What was one that you were like, you walked away from and you were like, wow, that's really mildly surprising. I didn't expect that.
I love Al Mayo. He knows it. He's so much fun. I like and I like his openness, and it makes it so easy. The person that I guess makes it very easy to film is Brian Inch from Model Rail Scenes. My buddy Brian,
Right.
He's in Maine. He's based in Augusta now. Model Rail Scenes. Talented man. Look at the episodes.
Yeah.
He's out of control. Okay. There are things that he says that do a lot of editing, a lot of cutting. Oh, I better lower that. I want lower the volume. Yeah. But such a talent, and when he rolls, and he makes it so easy. What he's doing and why he's doing it, the history behind of what he's doing, and it's fun. It's so much fun to shoot with Brian. Yeah. And Riley. He's growing up to be something amazing too.
Yeah. John Arthur says this is a very humbling hobby sometimes. Randall Ellis just came in. Let's see. Harry McKeevy, he says the hand has to compromise with the brain about expectations.
Yeah.
You
just get better and better, things get better when you just keep at it. But you got it.
They do.
They step away, and then you look upon it again, and then you start making corrections that you then would never think of 15 minutes before. How does that happen?
I find that sometimes in this day and age, in this time that we live in, and this pressurized with everything that's going on, I when I come into the train layout room and I start working on a project or I start researching something that I want to do on my layout, regardless of whether it's weathering a freight car, finding out information about a certain railroad that interacted with what I'm doing and stuff. I always find that when I come out, my wife immediately notices it ASAP. She's like, oh, you spent time in the train room. I said, yeah, how do you know? She says, there's a calmness, there's a peace about you.
Yeah.
And I find that to be very relevant, in this day and age. And the mistakes I make are the ones that I benefit the most by. When something happens in the layout, I never throw anything away to the chagrin of my wife. She's like, it could be anything. You go into the garage, there's like a whole section. I made bins, and different sections of cut up wood are there.
Mm-hmm.
Just bins and bins of like scrap plywood, scrap homicide, everything. And she's always like, what are we doing with this stuff? I said, you'll never know. We might need that one day.
Yeah.
And you always find something to do. I never throw any of the structures. If I replace them, I don't give them away. I just do and repurpose them. And you learn when you look at something that you built a couple of years when you were new in the hobby, and then you get back into it, you say, yeah, I could do something different. You don't trash it. You don't take it apart. You just improve on it. That's how I look at it.
For things to change, to make things better, you have to get better.
Yes.
Of what? Everything.
Yeah.
For things to change, you have to change, or else nothing's going to change. You're going to be stagnant. You're just going to
Right, exactly.
Things get better, you have to get better. And when you really want to get better, it's not work. It's this burning desire to
a passion.
Yeah, because you see it in your mind what you would like to see. I see that when I make a movie, and it's the same thing. Working on the Rhiannon Falls, Hildreth, and Mountain View route, my layout. I see it already. It's already done in my mind. In my now thing is what I'm trying to do is get closer and closer to that vision that I have in my mind.
Could you bring up?
I love both artwork. I love both crafts because
it's Well, it's an artistic expression.
Yeah,
that comes out. I see in my South Brooklyn layout, and excuse me, gentlemen out there watching, ladies, expound. I'm not patting myself on the back, but just to expound on what you're saying. Mine is based in 1983, October, when urban decay was in the city, when Gerald Ford told the city of New York to Beam, the mayor, drop dead. You're not getting a thing. My railroad is urban decay, and in my mind's eye, what I remember from it, and the trains were filled with graffiti. Things were held together with duct tape and bubble gum, and that's how my layout. And I don't really get into the cleanliness of it. I want to make it as urban and as decayed. There's a lot of trash on my layout, a lot of homeless camps. There's a lot of things on there that people say, "Oh, I never noticed that."
And it's an amazing scenario. It's like it's like a time capsule.
Yes,
together.
John Arthur says, and then I'll get to Adrian Gaskin. He says, "We model railroaders are orderly hoarders, never throw anything out, but we know exactly where everything is." That is so true. Andrew Gaston, that's like a good train show. I find you can escape reality, enjoy your time with trains and people, not in your everyday work or etc. Wishing for the train shows to return soon. Yes. Yeah. And Eric Hall says, I have that issue. I have made a decision over the last month. I need to throw away a bunch of stuff, cluttering the train room. I gloss over it in the next video, but keeping the kids. Yes. Now I got it. I have the issue. I have made a decision over the last month. I need to throw away a bunch of stuff, cluttering the op room and the train room. I gloss over it in the next video, but I'm keeping the kids.
Yeah, if you have, if you have model railroading, items that you're not going to use for your layout, and if you really can feel it in your heart to let it go, let it go.
Yeah,
so it's somebody else's gold mine. It's somebody else's treasure, and then you make a little bit of money, and then you could buy a Rapido train or a Broadway scale trains and get really something that you really like. So that's how I've done it. I have this. It's probably I got it in the late '90s. It's a Walters Trainman. It's a FA1 and FA1B New York Central, and it really ran good, but it was DC. So I wanted to put a decoder in it. So I sent it up to Tony's Trains, and Lou worked on it. He put a what did he put? He put a Tsunami in it, and oh man, it's a beast. and it's for Walter's train. It's really powerful. It could really pull some cars.
Yeah.
So, and it was I didn't buy a $350 locomotive. It was what, less than 100, maybe, I don't know.
I'd be amazed what you can.
And do. I got this A&B unit that can pull all my New York Central passenger.
There you go. You think you could bring up the photo of your work in progress there?
I don't know if I still have it.
Did you? If you can't, don't worry about it.
I got the screen in front of me now. Is that something? It's really, it's like you see the slot car track. You see the double main line with the siding. That's where the Rhiannon Falls station is going. Oh, okay. Don't have the screen share. Okay.
While you're trying to get that up, John Arthur, for a little while, I tried to keep my eBay selling and buying sort of kind of in balance. for a little while anyway.
Share screen. I forgot to do the screen share. Okay.
Are You a Train Man Too says, I give away most of my mistakes so I don't have to have a reminder of how much money I wasted.
Oh, but you make some cash over it.
Yeah. Zach Summer, South Brooklyn Railway, N1 and N2. Yeah, I have those two engines. I do. Zach, good to have you in the show, bro. Randall Ellis says, I collect a lot of what I see and where I work. That means there's a lot of BNSF locomotives in my collection, but in recent years, I've started collecting BNSF predecessors, roads, especially Frisco.
Mm.
It doesn't mean, he continues to say, it doesn't mean that I won't buy locomotives dressed in other railroad schemes. I would easily like to get the Kansas City KCS Tier 4 or an ES44 AC. They're beautiful locomotives.
Oh man, I just got the salute to servicemen for the steel trains, the GEVO.
Yeah,
it's lovely. I love it. Just got it.
The CV Railroad in HO scale says Atlas switch engines also pull awesome. Yes, they do.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of the Rhiannon Falls pictures on this screen. But I have some really good news. I am planning to produce another show called Days and Nights on My Model Railroad. And I am starting to put shots and sequences together.
Okay.
How I'm putting my layout together. So you will, the folks out there, you will see that layout.
Okay.
And it's going to be more detailed. It's going to be not as much step by step. I don't like to do a lot of how to do's because there's so many folks are doing it.
Right.
And it's not the way I shoot. I'm a sin of a verite filmmaker.
Okay. Is that? Go ahead.
And so wait and see. I'm not sure when I'm going to premiere it. I'm still doing. I'm still involved with shooting, and putting the all my media where I want it, where whatever subject I'm doing. What stage of the build is. I guess you can say. So stick around. Get in touch with me. Subscribe to Burack Cinematic, and I would say within the next 60 days, there's going to be something called
Burack Cinematic is on the YouTube, right? YouTube channel is Burack Cinematic is on YouTube, right? That's your YouTube channel name.
And you can always just write "What's on the Rails?" ? and you'll probably run into my show.
Right. Okay. Is that the camera you use to shoot?
Yeah, this is my Fearless AX2000 Sony. It's what they call a prosumer camera. It could do everything. You could shoot total program automatic and can do a great job. Or I can go manual. I could do what I love about this lens is I could do what they call rack focusing, where I can go to a layout and have a sharp focus on a figure person in the forefront, and then go to a train going by in the background.
Oh, nice.
That depth of field, and that's nice on the layout because it gives it gives them more of a distance.
Yes,
it's a really cool thing.
Do you shoot your videos with that?
Yeah. This is my primary camera, and at one time for a year, my camera broke. On my layout, it was on the tripod and went to the floor. It was even with carpeting. Yeah, so I busted up this whole focus ring. Everything was shot, so I had to send it out to a place called Video One in California. And they did a great job, but it took me about a year to pay for it. So I got this from the PX because I served in the Army. And this is an AX53 Sony. It's got the 4K, but I go with AVC HD, either MOV codec or MP4. This is the same camera Al uses for Monster Railroad.
Does he?
He uses the same camera.
John Arthur says that's a lot bigger than my iPhone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
CV Railroad and HO scale says that
I'm starting to do a lot of point of view tracks. Like I love putting this on a flat card. This is a Hero 3. I don't need any 4, 5, 6, 7, or 28. This 3 is doing a great job. That's all I need. I know you can put a housing on it because if it's in the housing, it has that fish eye look.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
And so this is you'll see a lot of shots of the recent What's on the Rails, Brian Inch's O-scale layout. He converted it from a 4x16 to a 10x16. There's a lot of track view shots of trains going forward and tracking one coming closer, coming towards it. So and recently I just uploaded a new episode, Quick Flick, What's on the Rails, and I started doing what I call a quick flick. It's a What's on the Rails episode that is less than, you want to keep it less than 7 minutes, something I could do short, quick, and just keep producing some shows out, because some of these episodes I'm doing are like 12 to 20 minutes long. Some are quite long, and it takes a while to put together. And then I'm a full-time nurse, so I'm still working full-time.
Right.
So so I just uploaded a quick flick about my new GP7s that Athearn put out, these Genesis. They're awesome. Right. So check it out. It just got it just premiered tonight. And I use this. I just took my iPad on the layout, and I just wanted to see how it would work out. So most of those shots are done by this iPad.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what let me see. CV Rail in the HO scale says the first camera you showed, he says that's a second mortgage for me.
Oh, the first camera. Yeah, these I think even today they've been around for like 10 years, but they're not outdated. It's just a wonderful, wonderful camera, and so user friendly. I think they were like 3,700. I don't think I paid that much for it, but probably close to it.
Yeah.
This is definitely my cornerstone. This is what, what and Rush, what does Geddy Lee play? His bass was a Rickenbacker. He's got that bass that you always see. And this is my baby.
This is your Rickenbacker.
Yeah, this is my baby. Yeah.
So you basically have two hobbies that are very expensive.
Yeah. The one thing I love about Sony, once you get a Sony, they last.
Yeah, they do.
They're pretty you do the right thing, proper care. And this GoPro, I've had it for quite some time. It's a 3, and it's marvelous. So I don't need to keep rotating cameras. These are doing really a super job. In my early films, I was using Windows computer with was it Cybernet, Cyberlink Power Director, and it's just a nightmare with Windows and video. I just and then I was seeing other filmmakers using Mac and other Power Director or I don't know what the Mac is, Pro,
right?
Mac Pro, I think it was. And then I saw Adobe Premiere, and I says, man, I got to give me an Apple. So what I did was, at 53 years old, this is 2013, I went to school. I went to the school of New England School of Motion Picture.
Right.
So I did a semester, and I learned Adobe Premiere. I learned about Macintosh. I took some marketing classes. I took all the classes. I got 3.65 QM. I never did that well in college.
This time around it was.
I tore it up,
right.
But I learned so much, and I did some video projects using Adobe Premiere and Mac, and that's what I did. So around 2014, I retooled, and I've been using Mac ever since, and Adobe Premiere Pro. Yeah. Right. So and I'm looking to upgrade, get another Mac. I don't know if I don't think I'm going to be getting an iMac. I'm going to probably get one of those stationary ones and get a really nice screen. So that's probably the direction I'm going to go. But, this is holding up pretty well. Look, this is a 2012 iMac here, and it's doing so well. So, I'm not in any rush.
It's when that guy that calls me up from from India to tell me that my my Windows 10 has been compromised and corrupted. I always say, I'm on a Mac. And the guy
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then hangs up.
Yeah, you don't see all that in a Mac on a Mac.
Yeah.
It's really a great computer system for
So when you were growing up, what was it that got you into the hobby of model? What was the first thing you saw that elicited?
Oh, I told you about that.
Right.
Well, there's two things. There was a show called Mr. Mayor, and I don't know where I saw it. It was on TV, and he had a train layout. That's all I did, and it caught my eye. I don't remember what the hell it looked like. I don't know where it was located. I don't even remember the show. I don't know if I can even find it on YouTube or anything. But it was called Mr. Mayor. But the one that really got me was Captain Kangaroo, and they had this Rice Krispies commercial, the Kellogg's commercial, and basically they had it looks like a Lionel. It had a steam engine, a flat car, and a caboose. And on the flat car was a bowl of Rice Krispies that was coming along the track, stopping at a water tower. And what was coming out of the water tower? Milk. The milk was coming out of the water tower, pouring into the bowl, and brought to you by Rice Krispies. And then it went on. And I go, yeah. And then my cousin Alan out in Plainview, he had a 4x8 Lionel set. And that I love that. I love that layout.
Right.
And that just took it on. And then writing the Brighton local, and my grandmother making me a nice sandwich, watching the D train and it coming in and out. Who's coming next? Okay? How many cars? And then during the weekday was wild, because then you had the express coming in. So I had a lot of guessing, because there was nobody to play with. That was my hobby. I was rail fanning at 6 years old.
Yeah, you had down at Brighton Beach. I remember as a kid, you used to have all the old women sitting out front, and they would be talking, and the old men would be changing war stories.
Yeah,
and stuff like that, and stuff. So, Art, thank you so much for being on Who's Big Bill Talking To. It was greatly. I love talking to you. You got a wealth of knowledge, and you can see the passion that you have for the hobby, for both the hobby and for your filmmaking. It really was. It was good having you on. And
thanks ever so much. It feels great to be. This is the first time I went, I guess, public into the cybernet. I so appreciate the warm regards of what's on the rails and what I'm doing as a filmmaker. And I do appreciate that. And the ones that don't like the movies, that's okay too, because maybe they just don't like model railroading or something like that. But that it's just I have it's such a strong sense of fulfillment that at my age, that I'm able to do this and get so much satisfaction from it.
It is. It truly is. And thank you so very, very much for sharing it with us and being.
Thanks for all who are watching right now. I so appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, you hear that, guys and women out there? He's thanking you guys, because if you're not watching, me and him are just talking to dead air here. So thank you for your participation in the Q&A and sending out the what do you call it? The good stuff, asking the good questions. Thanks again, Art. I really do. Your name of the channel is, say it again for us.
Burack Cinematic.
Or you can type in "What's on the Rails."
What's on the Rails? Yeah, and you'll get my shows. And soon, Days and Nights on a Model Railroad. I'll be pre-promoting that in probably in another few weeks.
Yeah, we'll definitely be checking you out, and hopefully we'll get you back on and see how you're progressing there. Just want to let you guys know that tomorrow night, Johnny's Train Talk Show will be coming back on tomorrow night. I know you guys have been waiting with bated breath. I hope you didn't wait too long, because you'd be dead from asphyxiation. But he'll be on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also on Saturday, this Saturday at 9 p.m., Railroad Empires, How We Build Them will be on. That's with Robert, Andy, Tim, Ari, and Ralph. And you should tune in especially for that, because they're going to be doing something really totally cool and different. They're going to try to harness nuclear power. Yes, you heard me right, folks. Nuclear power into an N-scale engine and try to run it on nuclear power. I don't know. It's either going to be the best light show from the Midwest, and we're going to go into DEFCON 4 or whatever. But I think it's going to be spectacular. I give it up to Robert, Andy, Tim, and Ralph and Ari for trying to accomplish something. That's this Saturday. Serious business. This Saturday, 9 p.m. Railroad Empires, How We Build Them, will be on. And once again, I do have to send down an apology to Sir Rod Stewart. We were supposed to have you on right after Art, but we ran out of time.
You know, Rod, you have to deal with it, guy. Come on.
Thank you. I know. He's moving back.
We love you, Rod Stewart.
We love him. We love him. But he's moving back to England with his layout. So the transition wanted to come on. But I'm sorry we ran out of time. But Art was on and we couldn't do it. So in any case, you guys be good out there. You be well. You be safe. And most often, you be blessed. And we'll see you guys on the radio.
Thanks.